What's going on, everyone? So I did a video on Bronny James because Bronny James is planning on working extremely hard and wants to earn an actual rotation spot. He wants to next season be in the mix for a proper rotation piece. And you look at this current roster, right? There aren't really those guys that you look at that, one, are exactly what this team needs, and two, have the upside and potential, right? Lakers don't have a bunch of 20-year-olds that, they're not Houston where it's like, man, maybe one of their guys turns a star or something like that, right? So you only have the guys Jeff, like Dalton Connect and Bronny James, essentially it. Now, I'll do a video on Dalton Connect, don't worry. But when I look at the Bronny James situation and I look at what he is, right? Hyper athletic, good defender, right? For a rookie. I imagine he's only going to improve and get better, right? Can be the point of attack, knock down the three ball, create a little bit for himself, create a little bit for others, right? Bronny James, I think, has the potential to be exactly what this team needs. Now, the question is, can he do that within year one and year two, right? Great example is Max Christie. Look at Max Christie. He was everything this team needs. You were almost better off trading Austin Reeves and keeping Max Christie than trading Max Christie in that trade, right? You were almost better trading off Dalton Connect or whatever, or giving up an extra first or whatever you had to do to keep Max Christie. Because Max Christie was exactly what this team needs, right? Exactly what this team needed. That point of attack, 3-and-D kind of sizable guard that can play the 2, play the 3. Right, and you would have been in business. The problem with Bronny James is he doesn't have the size and the length that Max Christie does. Right, Bronny James is 6'2", 6'3", if that. Right, he's probably closer to 6'2", maybe 6'1.5". Right, but he has the athleticism, he has the foot speed, he has the lateral quickness, he has good instincts and good nose for the ball. To where you can look at Bronny James and you can see that there is a version of Bronny that is exactly what this team needs as a rotation piece. I'm not talking about necessarily a starter or a star or a superstar. Not everyone has to be that. Not everyone has to be, Giannis. Not everyone has to be LeBron James, right? You need role guys. Look at a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves. They beat us because their role guys were just better. They didn't have 2 or 3 stars. They had Anthony Edwards. And then they had a bunch of just high-end role guys, and Julius Randle's an all-star guy, and they steamrolled the Lakers, right? You need quality rotation pieces. You need athleticism, right? What do the Lakers need badly? Outside of a center, obviously. They need legit 3-and-D players, legit two-way guys, and athleticism desperately. What is Bronny James' potential? Being a legit 3-and-D guy and athleticism. Right? That's exactly what the Lakers need. So there is a version of Bronny that can, in my opinion, be a rotation piece off the bench. Again, I don't think he'll necessarily be the starter, but if let's say Bronny becomes a legit two-way guy, not elite two-way guy, just a good, slightly better than what Gabe Vincent gave you this season, right? Well, now Gabe Vincent becomes more expendable. Right now, you can look to trade him in his $11 million contract, but also that's fine. If you what would be great on the Lakers? A more athletic Gabe Vincent, right? That would be great. The Lakers absolutely could do something like that, especially when you have LeBron and you have Luka. 2 guys that are going to have the ball in their hands 90% of the time. And then if the Lakers end up keeping Austin Reeves, same thing. So what do you need? You need a guy that can bring the ball up, initiate your offense, get you into your actions, and then move and play off ball. And then on defense, be a point of attack. On offense, be that cutter, that slasher, that lob threat, that, catch and shoot guy. All things Bronny are more than capable of being, right? If I'm Bronny James and he really wants to be a rotation piece next season, then to me, the path is very clear. Don't work on your game, right? You want to work to maximize everything. But my main focus as far as what I'm working on this offseason is, moving without the basketball, catch and shoot 3-point shooting, right? Those are the 2 biggest things I'm working on. Why? Because if you want to be a rotation piece, the defense is there. Right? He just needs maturity. Right? He just needs to better understand and grasp. And that comes with playing time and reps. And you can't replicate NBA games. Right? So he just needs to get the reps and the time and the opportunity. Well, how do you do that? You got to be able to score the basketball, shoot the basketball, right? Move without the basketball. Why? Because you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic. They're going to have the ball in their hands. So what are they going to be looking for? Guys that are cutting and moving, and guys that are standing, waiting, boom, got the ball, rise up, knock down the shot. Right? That's what they're going to be looking for. So if I'm Bronny James, I'm working my tail off. I'm taking, 20,000 threes this offseason to try to be as close to a 40% three-point shooter as I can possibly be. If he's 38% from three-point range this season and playing defense the level which we saw he can play, he'll be a rotation piece, right? He'll be a rotation guy, right? Again, not expecting him to be a superstar, not expecting him to go and average 18 a game, not expecting anything more than, again, a more athletic Gabe Vincent, right? Can he just come in, give us, 8 points a night, knock down, 2 threes, maybe get an and one, or, just beat a guy off the dribble, get to the basket, and get a layup. Right? Work on your rim finishing through contact, right? 3-point shooting, moving without the basketball. Those are the big factors. Those are the big things that I think if I'm JJ, I'm telling him, hey, you want to be a rotation guy. You want to be a rotation piece. These are the things that you need to do, right? And what's the big thing that everyone keeps talking about? How much work Bronny James has put in. Bronny James isn't just standing around and going, well, I'm on the Lakers because of daddy, right? Like, no, he's putting in the work. He's trying to carve his own path. He's trying to pave his own path. You got to remember, this guy was, a top 20 prospect before the cardiac arrest. This guy was projected to go, I think 15th to Atlanta in the projections when he was going into college before the cardiac arrest. And then ended up, having that medical scare, which the fact that he's even came back is a miracle in and of itself, right? So now it's just, again, he has to work twice as hard, right? Because of the situation, because of the circumstances, which is unfortunate. It sucks. But hey, what are you going to do? You're going to let it beat you, or are you going to overcome it? Adapt and overcome, right? So Bronny James, if he can overcome that and he can actually get to that point, I do think that there is a version and path where he's exactly what this team needs, where we're all like, oh man, this was Evans, right? Just doing the dirty work, right? He needs to come in and embrace the dirty work, embrace playing off ball, embrace sacrifice your body, taking the charge, diving, scrapping, right? Be that scrapper. Be the guy that isn't afraid to get into a squabble. Be the guy that is willing to jump on that ball, and rip it away, and do the dirty work. Do the hustle plays. The guy is a hyper athlete. Use your athleticism to your advantage. He has his dad's athleticism, his dad's IQ. Use those things to your advantage, right? Come in and embrace the role. Maybe one day he does evolve into. I'm never going to put a cap on a young guy because you never know, right? When Jokic was being drafted during, a Taco Bell commercial, no one thought that he was going to be the best player in the league. When Giannis, no one thought he was going to be the second best, if not arguably the best player in the league. You never know what SGA, no one's talking about SGA until 3 years ago, right? You never know what somebody is going to become, what somebody is going to be, right? I'm not saying that he will be a star or a superstar or anything like that, but I also don't want to limit a young man. But he doesn't need to be that to have success. There are plenty of players that have had long careers just being the guy. Danny Green for 15 years was the guy every team wanted. Every team wanted. He wasn't a star. He was a superstar. He was the prototype 3-and-D guy. He could defend the best player on the other team and knock down the 3 ball with consistency. If Bronny James can be that, Bronny James can, obviously, again, he doesn't have the height and the size that Danny Green had. But again, you need guys at the guard position. You need point of attack guards. You need guys that can be pests. I mean, look at guys like Patrick Beverley is probably a great example. If he can be a more athletic Patrick Beverley, think how long of a career and how many teams he held, right, during his career. Avery Bradley, right? Like George Hill, right? Like there's plenty of guys that have had that. Again, Gabe Vincent's another guy. There's plenty of guys in this league that have been game changers for teams because of them just embracing, buying into the role, and having the skill set necessary for a particular team. Bronny James has that skill set for this particular team. He is exactly what this team needs. Exactly what this team needs. So if he can be that for the Lakers, then the Lakers are in excellent shape, and I'm excited for it. I genuinely am excited to see kind of the progress from year 1 to year 2. I mean, you saw Max Christie make those strides, right? You saw year 1, Max Christie was, it's kind of like, okay, let's give him some time, to like, oh no, he's clearly the best player in Summer League right now. So hopefully Bronny can be the same. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.